YouTube. This is going to be a video on a number of things. And I feel like making a video as per usual, and I tried to find some stuff worth making a video about, and I went to InfoWars, but a lot of what you'll find there today is the typical right-wing talking porn bullshit. They don't seem to be really posting anything I care about. They don't seem to be posting much of anything I would care about one way or the other on InfoWars. So there's not much one way or the other I care about on InfoWars. So instead, I'm going to try to talk about it here. Fuck me. I'm going to talk about this. Thinking about and looking back at it. And I don't want you to think I'm talking about that segment again, because I don't really care, and it wasn't anything particularly bad about the issue really in this country. But at the time I looked at it as pro-circumcision propaganda, and that's kind of my point. I couldn't really see why so many people, including the people that I thought they were making fun of, supported it. But with that being said, I want to say, looking back at it now, I don't see it quite that way. But also you have to keep in mind, I'm not a one issue person. I talk about a lot of different stuff, and I obviously care a lot about this too. And sometimes I don't always say what I want to say, or I have more thoughts about something, and I'll come back to issues later on in other videos. But I just want to say about this, I think that the main point of that video, and maybe the reason why everyone seems to be supporting it, was because the main point of that video was simply to get the topic out there. And let's be honest, they did, and it led to other people who are against genital mutilation talking about the issue and leaving various comments on the video and talking about why it's bad and what's wrong with it. And people seem to think the segment was in fact anti-genital mutilation. And I'll keep in mind, I'll say myself, I don't really laugh a lot these days. I don't have quite the sense of humor I used to. And who knows, maybe if I was younger, when I used to laugh a lot easier, maybe I would see the joke, or I would think of it differently. But I just wanted to say that I don't think it's as anti-genital mutilation as I thought it was. And really, if you want to be honest about that, I think that he probably said about as much as he could say, and honestly be able to make a video that was or make a segment that was anti-circumcision on the modern media news network, or just the network where people are everything's kind of controlled. And I've talked about that before, and there's a few companies that control all your news information, and it is a money issue. It's not just religious, and that's obviously religion corrupts things, and that's part of the problem, but it's also a money issue. And you have a lot of people that watch that have ego problems, and they don't want to accept the fact that maybe they did something wrong to their children, and a lot of other stuff. But I think that it did bring attention to the issue, and it put it out there in the mainstream, and that's good, and that's an improvement, and that's the first step forward. And I'll leave it there. I mean, maybe I was wrong about that. And you also have to keep in mind, I also watch a lot of news, and I have to watch a lot of videos and a lot of news videos, and I read a lot of stories and articles on the internet. And sometimes I don't always feel like doing that, or I would rather watch another video or do something else, but I kind of have to make myself in order to do what I do, to do my work. And I take my work very seriously. And like I said, I don't really find as much of the humor in things as I used to. I've become overly serious in some ways. And also this the chaos of posting stuff. Does the comment take? Did the comments take? Will it get deleted? Did someone delete it? What takes? What doesn't take? Does my comment make me look stupid? If I posted 2 comments, and in order to understand me, you have to read both. Well, one take. Trivial crap like that is something that worries me. And I just do a lot of this shit, and it's really my main thing that I really care about. It's just something I worry a lot about, and it's my life's work pretty much. It's a lot of philosophy and sociology and political issues and different stuff wrapped into one thing, and I care a lot about it. And it's not a habit. I'm not a troll, that's for damn sure, even though I know that some people might think I am, because I do post a lot of stuff, and also I have writing issues. But the point is, I'm certainly not a troll. I'm not trolling, that's for damn sure. But I'm sure as fuck not a troll, and it's also not a habit. It's not a hobby. Like I know Trump even said when he first got into it, it was kind of like a hobby for him. And I know that when I first got into, politics was like a hobby for him. And when I first started getting into a lot of this, it was a bit of a hobby for me if I go back far enough. But over the years, it has become something very serious that I think probably too much about. And it's become almost difficult to continue talking about this as much. But moving forward, I just want to say, speaking of circumcision and genital mutilation in America, a practice that has become all but normal here, and we are the only country to do that for non-religious reasons, and really one of the few countries, and probably the only modern civilized country, other than maybe Israel. We are the only modern country in the world to do this, the only first world country, and no other country does it. But also that brings me back to something I read recently. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this now before I forget about it. But New York Times, I saw where they put out an article, and I don't know how old this is, but they say that the Trump nightmare must end. Yeah, because things were doing so good before him, right? Let's look at this. Let's see. We used to be a historically, unprecedentedly homophobic and even more transphobic, and especially transphobic even now, transphobic, bigoted, possibly in some cases racist, country with a massive prison population, homeless rate, skyrocketing homeless rate. We have a lot of gender issues. And part of that is we have somehow normalized and made normal the practice of circumcision or genital mutilation, even though we are the only non-religious country to do that in the world, or to do so for non-religious reasons in the world. And now we are also a historically unprecedentedly homophobic, transphobic country with a massive prison population and a skyrocketing homeless rate, in some cases possibly racist, that has gender problems and has somehow normalized the practice of genital mutilation and whatever else. But we also don't bomb as many countries. What? We don't. What? But also, oh my God, to my stars, what shock and horror. We're not bombing as many countries as we used to before he became president or the president. How can we do that? We used to bomb countries constantly. He's not bombed that many countries. Unlike Obama and Bush and Clinton and all of these assholes, he hasn't bombed a lot of countries. What's wrong with us? Oh no, the nightmare of Trump. Get fucked. Finally, going forward, Graham, speaking of that, Graham also says that he admits that Trump's Syria campaign plan could work, or that is basically the plan to take troops out of Syria, as Trump has been doing and is continuing to do. And what's his name? Lindsey Graham, the kind of cartoony congressman, dude, whatever. Anyways, he admits that it could work now, and it does shit it could work. And I think there's even a report that I read somewhere. I think it was from Haaretz or something, but it was children throwing vegetables at leaving U.S. troops in Syria because, yeah, they really wanted us there. They really needed us. Kind of like the Iraqis would greet us as liberators and not occupiers, even though they did greet us as occupiers. And they didn't want us there. Maybe not as much at first, but certainly after staying there for a while, they wanted us to fuck out of there. And we would be the same way about any country invading us. And I don't care if you like Trump or not, you couldn't possibly be happy if China or some other country invaded your ass. And that's exactly what we did. So there's that. And there's really not much more to talk about other than I just want to say that, again, genital mutilation is something bullshit, and it does kill 20,000 nerve endings in the penis. It kills between 50 and 100 children themselves. So, especially for all you forget about the nerve endings or sexual sensation, it can kill the child. And especially, this is important, especially for all you anti-abortion people, it can kill the child and does in some cases. And it can also lead to sex changes, and some of those children grow up later on to kill themselves because, there's nothing wrong with being transgender, and I am completely pro-transgender, and I talk about that, but some children themselves actually later on do grow up and go on to kill themselves because they're not transgender. And you didn't give them a right to make that choice because you wanted to do this stupid thing to them that you also wasn't giving them a choice about. And you fucked it up, you botched the procedure, and you cut off their dick, and now they had to kill themselves later on. And that's not okay. Nothing against transgenderism and transgender people, but this isn't about the same thing. This is infants, or these are children we're talking about that didn't choose to be that because you fucked up a procedure that there was no reason to do. And it can cause other botches. It can botch other shit. You can fuck up in other ways. Again, it causes neurological problems, or it can cause neurological problems. Like I said, scarification, and it can cause neurological issues or problems, and it causes all kinds of problems. And that's all. Hey, 6666.